right, let's move on to number 6. Again, we are evaluating this. Same formula. The formula doesn't change. Oops, let me change my color. So number of terms. I'm not going to copy down the formula. Actually, yeah, I will. It's going to make it easier. S sub n is equal to S sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n power divided by 1 minus r. So I have S sub n is equal to S sub 1. What is S sub 1? S sub 1 is the first term. Again, unless you have a lower limit that is something different than 1, your A sub 1 is just the first term. So 4 times 1 minus r, always put r in parentheses. N, they told you, is 6. So in this case, this number here, this n needs to be 6 as well. We're evaluating the first 6 terms. I don't know what r is yet, so I'm going to just leave that as a blank. 1 minus r, put r in parentheses. Okay, let's figure out what r is. That is our common ratio. So I'm doing 4 times what is 24? 24 times what is 144? And etc. So I'm going to just off to the side do division. I prefer to find my common ratio with division. So I have 24 divided by 4. I have 144 divided by 24. So 24 divided by 4, that is 6. 144 divided by 24, that is 6. So my common ratio is 6. So I'm putting 6 here and 6 here. And again, calculator time. 6 to the 6th power. See if you can see that a little bit better. 6 to the 6th power is this big number. So I have, let's see, 1 minus that number. So if you can do the answer part of it on your calculator, if you can take a previous answer, you can do that. And you guys, let's go back here for a second. I didn't mention that I multiplied by 1. I hope you guys saw that. It's just we're multiplying all of this times 1 here. All right, let's go back. 4 times 1 minus 46,656. And this is divided by 1 minus 6, which is, I'm just going to do that real quickly and save it. That's a 5. So I have 1 minus 46,656, which is a negative now. And we're going to multiply that by 4 and divide by 5. And something went wrong. What went wrong? And the reason I know something went wrong is because my summation is a negative number. All of my numbers here are positive. So if I add a bunch of them up together, why would it be negative, if you know what I mean? So let's figure something out. Let's try this again. Oh, you know why? Hopefully you guys saw this. 1 minus 6 should be a negative 5. Negative 5, that should be negative. All right, let's try this again. 1 minus 46,656. We're going to times that by 4. We're going to divide that by negative 5. And that is 37,324. All right, let's do one more. Example number 7, a sub 1 is equal to 4. And again, we're evaluating. So our formula, S sub n is equal to S sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n power divided by 1 minus r. So we have S sub n, or we're going to find out the summation of the first 7 terms. When the first term is 4, the common ratio is negative 6. First 7 terms is what I'm trying to figure out. And how am I getting this first 7 terms? This 7 comes from here, a sub 7. They're telling you that the last term in that position is 186,624. And then here we have 1 minus r, which is negative 6. In the denominator, we're going to have a 7. In the numerator, we're going to have 4 times 1 minus negative 6 to the 7th power, which is a negative 27,936. I said that incorrectly, but it's okay. We're going to take 1 minus that number, or in this case, we're going to add. So we're going to add, because we have 2 negatives. So I have 4 times 279,937, because I added that 1. 2 negatives make a positive. We're going to divide by 7, and this is for sure calculator time. This is 4 times 279937. You guys can't see. Divided by 7. And that gives me 159,964. It's trippy saying these numbers correctly. All right, beautiful people, let's see if we have more. Oh, we do. We have 3 more. Again, this one's asking us to have the summation. Evaluate this, so S sub n is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n power divided by 1 minus r. A sub 1 they tell us is negative 4, 1 minus r they tell us is 4, h they tell us is the position number, 1 minus 4, so I have negative 3 in my denominator. I have negative 4 times 1 minus 4 to the 8th power. 4 to the 8th power is 65,536. Try to say these numbers out loud, you guys. It's fun. All right, so now we do 1 minus that number times 4. So this is what I'm doing here. 1 minus that number times 4 divided by negative 3. And that gives me 87,380. Let's do 2 more. Determine the number of terms n in each geometric series. Now, you know this is a finite series because, first of all, they're trying to get you to tell you the number of terms. How many numbers did you actually add up? Also, S sub n tells you that you're going to have a finite series. All right, so formula time, S sub n is equal to S sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n power divided by 1 minus r. They tell you what S sub n is. They tell you what this is. They said this is negative 63. They tell you that A sub 1 is negative 1. They tell you that r is 2. So the only thing that you're missing, the only unknown that you have is n. And that's what we're trying to find out. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's write this up here. Negative 63 is equal to negative 1 times 1 minus 2 to the n power divided by 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Now let's say these numbers were different. You can just multiply by negative 1 on both sides. However, this is multiplication. Remember, if we're talking about in the first semester, if it's in a bubble and it's being multiplied, we're doing a happy dance. Multiplication is key. This entire bubble is being multiplied by negative 1. That means I get to cross out. If you don't have multiplication with bubbles, you can't do this. You would just multiply by negative 1 on both sides. And then, so let's go ahead and solve. So I have negative 63 is equal to 1 minus 2 to the n power. Again, you can subtract this term. However, I'm going to subtract 1 instead. So I have negative 64. Just kidding, that's a positive. No, that's negative. Negative 64 is equal to a negative 2n. Notice this negative is on the outside. This is super duper important. Notice that this negative is on the outside. So in order to do anything with our exponent, it has to be the only thing there. Because we have a negative on the outside of the parentheses, we need to get rid of that negative by multiplying or dividing by negative 1. So that means now I have 64 positive is equal to 2 to the n power. We're going to use that the power one-to-one rule. That means I'm going to do guess and check. 2 to what power is equal to 2 to the n. And so we're going to do 2 to, I don't know, third power, too small. 2 to the fifth power, too small. 2 to the eighth power, too big. 2 to the seventh power, too big. 2 to the sixth power, perfect. So that means now because our bases are the same, our exponents are equal, so n is equal to 6. And let's do one more. This is going to be our last one for the review video for geometric series. Same thing, it's asking us to determine the number of terms. Here our formula, S sub n is equal to S sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n power. This time they give us the summative notation. So they're telling you that this 7 is your S sub n. So S sub n is 7. A sub 1, again, this is the explicit rule. So A sub 1 is 1 because it's the number. If you follow the formula, it's not because this is 1. Don't do that. This is 1 because of our explicit rule. Our common ratio is a -3, and we don't know, and divide by our common ratio, which is -3, 1 minus that. All right, in the denominator, we have 1 plus 3, or you can just say it's 4. In the denominator, I have 1 times a -3 to the nth power, and you have a 1 minus. Two different things. Do not combine them. Don't do it. You can get rid of this 1 because it's just multiplying by 1, or you can leave it and then just get rid of it later. That's up to you. So what are we doing? I'm going to get rid of this 1 because it's just multiplying by 1. So I'm going to have 1 minus my -3 to the nth power. Now I'm going to set it up a little bit more because I kind of kept writing it, but I still have this equals to 7. So 7 is equal to 1 minus a -3 to the nth power divided by 4. I'm going to multiply by 4 both sides. So I have, kind of running out of room here. Oh, you guys can't see. So I have 7 times 4, and that is 28. So I have 28 is equal to 1 minus -3 to the nth power. Again, two different things. Do not combine anything. Now I'm going to highlight it even more different. So I have the -3 to the nth power. I have a minus, and I have a 1. So we kind of now have 3 things. So you have to remove 1 at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1, which gives me a 27, equals to a negative times a -3 to the nth power. Again, two separate things. You have a negative out in front, and then you have a -3 to the nth power. Do not combine them. I can't stress that enough. So then we're going to multiply. This is not subtraction. Even though it's minus, it's technically multiplying by -1. So we're going to get rid of that minus by multiplying by -1 on both sides. So I have a 27 negative is equal to a -3 to the nth power. Now we're using that 1-to-1 property. -3 to what power is 27? So -3 to, I think it's 3. Haha, it is 3. So that means, again, I'm running out of space here, but so that means that -3 to the third power is equal to -3 to the nth power. And that means that 3 is equal to n. So how many terms did we add? We added 3 terms in order to get 7. All right, beautiful people, I honestly don't know if this video is going to be short or long. Probably long, as my videos usually are. I apologize, but hopefully I got the majority of examples in this video to help you study. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.